Good morning, guys. Look at this. I've got my wizard. It looks a little funny with my headset on. Hold on. Got my wizard robe now, my witch robe, so we can be proper noitus. See? Look at that. I also got to turn the light on. Check it out. Hell yeah. I don't know how long I'm gonna wear this though, because it's kind of hot. But today, what we're doing is we're gonna fix the camera because it feels like it's a little off to me. Oh god, what have I done? There we go. Anyways, today we're doing a little bit of Noita tutoring. So I have a list of things that we're gonna go over. It's gonna be non-spoilers only. So if you're interested in the game and you don't want to spoil the game for yourself, this will be a spoiler-friendly stream, noob-friendly stream. I am starting a brand new save basically, so there's not even going to be spell spoilers. It's just going to be spells that are available to you at the very beginning. So I suppose let's get into it. I hope you guys are having a splendid morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are located. Oh jeez. Hold on, let me turn down the music. I forgot about that. Hopefully that was all audible still and not too loud. The center map came out yesterday on Arc. Very good to hear. Maybe I'll give that a go at some point, but today we're doing Noita content. Actually a lot of Noita content recently because I'm in love with this game. It's amazing. So, one of the first things you need to know about this game, basically, is that although it's labeled as a roguelite or roguelike, it is more of a hardcore survival game, and your main goal is to survive and, let's just say, beat the game, quote unquote, because there's a whole lot to this game, and once you beat the game and you think, oh, that was really cool, you've just barely scratched the surface. So I don't want to give too many spoilers. I want to keep this minimal spoilers, give as little information that you could figure out for yourself and it would be fun to figure out for yourself as possible. So I'm not going to be talking about secrets. Just know that there are secrets. So the main goal of this game is essentially build wands, kill enemies, build cool wands, more cool wands, explore. Exploration is key in this game. There's so much to explore. It's pretty insane, actually. So just go off the beaten path, do whatever you want, experiment, do things that you think would just be fun. Hello, how you doing? So you're gonna want to take your time with this game. Don't rush through it. Rushing gets you killed, which is gonna happen a lot. You're gonna die a whole lot in this game. It's just the truth. So don't be discouraged by that. You're probably gonna die at least a few hundred, maybe even times before you get your first win, or more than that. But that's okay, and it doesn't really matter. You can consume as much content of this game as you want. It'll help you. Yes, it is. It is a guide. It's more of a new player thing, kind of spoiler-free type of guide. So I don't know. I don't want to say there's a lack of that, but I'm thinking that maybe I can just kind of share my input and give as little spoilers as I feel necessary. So because a lot of spoiler-free guides might give a few spoilers that I didn't really. You could do without, I should say. But I want to also encourage people, because I didn't really play the game spoiler-free. I did for a few days, and then I couldn't take it anymore because I don't have the patience for it. But I want to encourage people to play the game mostly spoiler-free because it's freaking incredible. And if you can figure it all out yourself, it would feel amazing. But obviously you can't figure it all out yourself. Also, I think I might drown if I don't pause the game because it's raining. But yeah, there's just so much to this game. It's hard to figure it all out yourself. So this guide is to help you get as far as you can, maybe beat the game, and then spoil yourself afterwards. So yeah, the first tip is just you're going to die a lot. It's going to happen. The student becomes the teacher. Yes, exactly. As you can see, I have my teacher robe on here. Looking pretty dope, except it's hard to put on over my headset. Yeah, it is very cool to go through quote unquote blind with as minimal spoilers, but like I want to give people wand building tips. Like during the first zone, I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff like stains and the kick ability, which is way more useful than initially led on to believe, you know. Okay, so as I said, you're going to die a lot. It's going to happen. Getting past that, every death you need to learn something. It doesn't matter if it's minimal, if there's some big thing that ends your run, there's something to learn from it, okay? Most things don't happen for no reason in this game. They're like, I'd say 95% of the time it's a skill issue is what people are going to say, like on Reddit. If you say, how did I die to this? Or like, what happened here? And they're just going to say skill issue. Most of the time they're right. But sometimes, I mean, there can be things that are not so apparent and, you know, but you learn about it for the next time and you take precautions to avoid that game issue. True. I agree with you. Game issue. Jokes aside, though, yeah, there are going to be a lot of things that kill you, and you're going to have to learn from it. Whole lot of hazards. This game, every pixel simulated, every pixel can kill you. That's just the way it is. But as you die, you're going to get more confident. It's going to become more fun. It's just, it's amazing, really. I don't know how they make it so rewarding to die, but explore. That is the next tip, is just explore and go wherever you think you can't go. If there's something you think you can't do, try and do it. Or if it's even something that you wouldn't even think of, think outside of the box. Try and do it. Do everything that you can in this game that you think isn't going to be possible, because it might be, and you just might discover something new even. And that kind of leads into the next tip that I have before we get into it, is experiment. I just want to maybe I should be doing this stuff at the end. This like explore, experiment, be curious type stuff. Maybe I'll reiterate at the end, but experiment with everything. All the spells, sometimes it's going to kill you. That's okay. You just have to do it better next time. That's the only way I could explain it. Like the first time I found an explosion spell, you just cast that shit, and then it blows you up, and you're like, oh, well, I know now. And yeah, be curious. If there's something in the game that you think is kind of weird, like you see... I don't know. There's tons of secrets in this game. So look for... If you see something and you're like, that's a peculiar marking, think about it. And maybe it leads to something, or maybe it will help you in some sort of way. If you just think about it, follow it, maybe. If it's an arrow or something like that. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Thank you. Now... the world is very dangerous. As I said, every pixel simulated. There are lots of deadly liquids, deadly enemies, deadly spells that you can inflict harm on yourself with. And that's the main idea of the game. So the next thing you're going to want to do, when you first load in, you start here, you have a few basic things. You have like a potion or an item. There's 4 slots for those and 4 slots for wands. Usually you'll start with like a water potion. And you can use that. Why are you saying life-changing advice for a goofy Shadow Wizard game? Were you making funny sticks? Okay. You're going to find most of the time you have like a water potion, swamp potion, something that can be useful and not dangerous. Sometimes it'll be dangerous. If it's something like Berserkium, which is like a useful liquid, it'll give you more damage and increase the size of your explosions, by the way, so be careful with that. You can drink it all and then fill it up with water. Like right now it's raining, so you could fill it up here. Which, by the way, to fill something up, I'm just going to right-click on this in my inventory to drink it all so that I can show you. If you go into something, it starts filling up. As long as you're holding the bottle out, it'll start filling up the meter, which is like where your mana would typically be up here. So if you're shooting the wand, you can see it's going down. So if you hold out your bottle and you go into a liquid, or if it's pouring... oh, shit. Okay, it's fine. I threw it into water so it didn't break. That was a right-click, by the way. You right-click to throw your potions. But if you get rid of this water, you can see it's going to start filling up from the rain dropping down, too. Oh, never mind. Anyways, you can fill up liquids, put them into bottles. Bottles can only hold liquids. There are also bags that can hold, like, soil is like a what's it called, a powder. You can pick that stuff up. If you have a bag, it looks like a little sack. So yeah, that's how you use items basically. Left click to spill the water, and then right click to throw it. But you probably don't want to throw your water potion. Because water is one of the most useful things in this game. It can clear you of many ailments. That's what I'm going to leave it at for now until we see some ailments. Now, you typically have 2 starting wands. The first one is always going to be this blue one. You can either start with Spark Bolt, which is probably the most universally useful because it can dig through a little bit of material, which, like I said, everything's simulated. You can blow a hole in the ground and go into that hole. And it's going to, you know, there's fire from the bombs. It can light stuff on fire, blow holes in things, all that good stuff. But the point I was getting at is these spark bolts can dig through softer materials like snow, for example, or ice. That's why I think they're the most universally useful. And then you have like a spitter bolt, which is the most high damage and probably fastest casting one. And then you also get a energy sphere as another optional, or is another option for the starting spells, which it's okay. And then probably the, I want to say the word, I don't know. I don't like either the energy sphere or the bouncing burst, which is the green bouncy one that flies all over the place, because they can't dig and they are also kind of slow, and cost a lot of more cast delay, which we'll get into later. But those are the 4 starting spells for your main wand. For your secondary wand, which is typically referred to as your bomb wand, you can start with bombs, which I started with. You can start with energy crystals, something like that. I can't remember what they're called, but they're red crystals that blow up on proximity. It's like a mine. You buy this game on Steam. Is Mr. Islam Bomber, yeah. Somebody in chat, if you can't see it. You could start with those crystals, which blow up enemies. Basically, it's a mine. You could get fire bolts, which are kind of 25 uses. As you can see, this bomb has 3 uses indicated by the number next to it here. You could get fire bolts, which kind of stink. They're probably one of the worst starts, but they do decent damage. They kind of fall a little. They're a little heavy. You could also start with magic missiles, which have 10 uses, and they're pretty good for damage and digging. A little bit of digging. The crystals are mostly useful for damage, so you're going to want to use it for that more than digging. Bombs are most useful for digging. Big areas, obviously. And then the fire bolts can dig a little bit, damage a little bit. Okay, so before you walk into the mine, I suggest that you rebind some of your keys. So if you just open the inventory or the pause menu here, you can see what all of this is basically all of your actions. So it says 1 through 8 is switch wand and item. So 1 through 4 is going to switch through your wands here in the top left. And then next to that is your items. This is 5 through 8. So you're going to have to go into your options, and you're going to want to make some keybinds. If you go to input and configure controls, here I've rebound all of my items to keys that are closer to my left hand. So Q, R, C, and V. You can also rebind like your first wand if you want to, like a mouse button, or if you just want your first wand and first item hotkeyed, you can change that. I've changed, I think it starts like this, but tab is also inventory for me. It gives you a secondary key. Anyways, change those as much as you'd like, but I very highly suggest you hotkey your item slot 5 or one of your item slots so that you can quickly access your water potion. Because if you get caught on fire, you're going to want to pour that water on yourself to prevent yourself from burning to death. And that goes with other things. And toxic sludge, slime, any sort of what we call stains. Okay, I got stuck on that. So see, if I get lit on fire right here. Oh, okay, we got to break another one of these lanterns because they drop oil. So if I get lit on fire, I'm on fire right now. It's ticking down in the bottom right. This is called a stain. Now if you pour water on yourself, you can remove that stain and stain yourself with water. So anything that appears above your head like that is a stain, and you can remove it with water most likely. By dumping it on yourself. If you're flying, you spray it and fly into it, kind of. See, it's increasing the amount of wetness I have. And if you're on the ground, you can just pour it at your feet. Usually that works the best for me. Because if you try and spray it up, it takes too long to fly up and then come back down and hit you. Okay, that's how to use your bottle and remove stains. Now we've entered the mines. Now, rule number 1, be cautious and play it as slowly as you'd like. I know that it can get boring to just slowly walk through, edge through the biome and like be very cautious of enemies. But that's really how you're going to survive and learn the game, is being very cautious, especially when you first start the game. New word dropped, please. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways. You've totally sidetracked me. Okay, here comes an enemy. Now, the best way to dodge in this game is to dodge perpendicular to the enemy. So like if he's above me, you want to run left to right, and if he's to the left of you, you want to go up and down to dodge. That's just the way they shoot. They shoot where you are, and then you have to move out of the way of where I ran out of boost juice. Levitate. But now, to fight these enemies, like I said, best way to dodge is up and down, if you're to the sides. Perpendicular to the enemy. Now, you can see he dropped this green shit. If you hover your mouse over it, it'll say toxic sludge. This is actually a setting. I've moved it to my mouse. What my mouse is hovering over, it'll say it next to the cursor if you go to... is it in general here? No, I think it's in graphics. No, it's not. Oh yeah, it is. No, it's not. I lied. Where is it? Is it an input? Okay, it's an input. Show hovered material, item name next to mouse. If you don't have it on, it'll show it near your inventory up here, your wands and items. But if you put it on your mouse, you can see what you're hovering over next to your mouse. So that enemy that I just killed drops this stuff called toxic sludge. If you get it on yourself, it'll damage you periodically. It's based on percent health, so even if you raise your hit points, it'll still be doing 2% of your max health, approximately. Now, this toxic sludge, it is dangerous, but it can't kill you. So if you need to jump into a vat of it to, for example, extinguish fire on yourself, if you're going to die from the fire, that is much more ideal than burning to death. So you can go ahead and jump into that toxic sludge to remove the fire from yourself. Also, you can mix toxic sludge with water to dilute it and turn it into water, essentially. So if you find a vat of toxic sludge, which we will at some point here, you can just throw a little bit of water into it and then kick it around, because every pixel's simulated, so if you kick it around, it'll start mixing. And you can dilute it faster that way. There doesn't seem to be that close by yet. We'll find one in a bit. And also, this little pixel of fire right here, you can see what that is. It's coal, actually, that's caught on fire here. If you stand on that, it could potentially catch you on fire. Like right now, you see the water tick down really fast. That's when I'm being touched by fire. So any little pixel, any little pixel can kill you in this game, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. Now, the main goal in the mines here is you're going to want to run around at a safe pace for you. Okay, see, I'm diluting the water, or the acid, or the toxic sludge here. I'll often call it acid. I'm sorry. That is just, I cannot get it out of my head because it's green. Now, this is a wand. This is a new wand that is also an enemy. And this enemy, I happen to know, drops acid when it's killed. So I'm not sure I want to mess with this right now. And that's okay. You can skip things. There's also a wand down here. It's got dynamite on it, which is good for digging. That's another starting explosive that I forgot to mention. Enemies drop blood when you kill them. That can be used similar to water, but it also gives you crit chance. So if you manage to kill enemies, let me kick him around so he drops blood. No, he doesn't want to drop blood. Okay. But if they do drop blood and you jump in it, and you get a blood stain on you, like I mentioned earlier, stains appear above your head, then you can use that to increase your critical strike chance. Maybe if I blow him up or something, he'll drop more. I don't know. Oh, there we go. He dropped a lot because I shot its head off. So now you can see it says bloody clothes protect you from fire like water. And then you sense an increased chance of attaining crits. So it's not guaranteed, but I could crit whenever I shoot enemies. And this increases that chance. Let's see here. Another thing I want to talk about here that is very, very useful that might not seem useful is up at the top it told you F to kick. Now if you kick something, like a lantern for example, you can kick it over to a spot like you might want to burn this wood. Okay, well that already started burning, but okay, it didn't break. What a poor example. Okay, we'll find another example. But yeah, basically you can kick. Okay, this guy's trying to come get me here. And this game is also a game about chaos, so don't mind the explosions everywhere. That's just what that enemy does. I'm being a bad tutor right now. You're not supposed to follow gold like that. There's gold everywhere. Don't lose health for it. Health is your most valuable resource. One of your most valuable resources. Gold is far more easily obtained. You'll learn this just as you play. And as you see right here, this enemy just dropped 2 gold nuggets, when typically, like if I shoot this one, he only drops 1. That's because he died to an environmental kill, or a trick kill, as it's called in this game. And I'm on fire, so I'm going to dump water on my feet. So because he caught on fire and died from the fire, it can't be like you killing it, but there are some ways around that, as you'll see later. Because he died from the fire, he dropped double gold, and that's called trick gold. So when he dies, he dropped 2 gold nuggets instead of 1 because of that. So a good way to get more money is for one, to let enemies burn to death. If you have, for example, this barrel, which is very dangerous. It's got a image of fire on it. It's filled with oil. When you shoot it, it'll blow up and spread flaming oil everywhere. So if you blow an enemy up with that, that counts as a trick kill. You'll get double gold. That's something very valuable to know early on, especially because if you go all the way to the right in the mines, oh god, this guy's dangerous. I'm worried about him because I'm in a very enclosed space. We're just gonna try and kill him here. Okay, he's dead. He drops lava when he dies. That's what's not very nice about that guy. And you can see there I was dodging up and down. Always up and down. Perpendicular to your enemy. So, I lost my train of thought because that guy scared me. But basically, we're gonna go to the right here. And we're gonna find something. Like I was saying, the kick you can use to displace things like this minecart. You can use that to squish enemies or light a box on fire that's gonna blow up. that too. Okay, you can also find potions down here. I'll get to that in a second though. So you can kick things around like that minecart and whatever I was just kicking around. Now if you kill an enemy with a physics object like that, most of the time, it'll count as a trick kill. I don't know why, sometimes it doesn't. It's either a bug, like that guy got squished, he gave me double gold. See that? If I blow this up right now, they'll all give double gold. Look at all that money. See that? Beautiful. So you want to trick kill as much as you can, typically in like the first area or 2. Now I found another wand. This has something called digging bolt on it. I need to slow down. I'm going rapid fire. I need to take it back a second. We just need to chill out. Okay. Kick things. It can do good damage. If you kick something, it can block enemy line of sight. They won't fire at you if it's like acting like a wall kind of. It does good damage. It gives you more money if you kill things by kicking it into them or dropping it on their head or whatever. I forgot to pick up that potion, but this is a toxic sludge barrel, so if you were to break that open and then put some water on it, basically it will turn into more water. Also explosive. All the barrels explode. All the boxes, like that one with the skull on it, explodes. Dangerous. So you don't want to blow this up right next to you, but you're going to, and you're going to die. And that's how this game works. You're going to enjoy it, damn it. Now, there's plenty of potions to be found in the mines, primarily. The first couple of biomes, you'll find more potions than later on, is what I seem to find usually. I don't know if that's true, but you'll find them in the later zones too. It just seems to be more frequent. Maybe because I explore the mines more. But they all do something quite different. So this one here is Acceleratium. If you drink it or pour it on yourself, it makes you run really fast, basically. And there's also one called Levitatium, which makes you levitate faster, which is this orange bar. If you hold spacebar or up W, you can float, hover, levitate, as it were. And that recharges whenever you're landed or if you're falling very slowly. So there's levitatium, which also makes you levitate faster. Acceleration makes you run faster, like I just showed. Sometimes you can start with that. If that happens, I suggest you drink it all and fill up your bottle with water, like I mentioned earlier. Most of the things that you start with, I suggest you drink it or dump it out. If it's like toxic sludge or acid, I suggest you dump it out and fill it with water. Unless it's a blood, you can still use that like normal. Now, here we found a vat of toxic sludge. I can show you if you just dump a little bit of water in there and then mix it up a little, it'll actually all turn into water over time. It might take a minute because this is quite a big vat, but there you go. All turned into water. And then you could pick this up, scoop it up into your water jar if it's empty or low. Now this looks a little bit strange, as you might notice. This is called a puzzle. Now this one's not much of a puzzle because it's kind of obvious what's going to happen. You see this little lightning bolt here on this box? That means it's electricity, whatever. Whenever you grab this wand, something's going to happen. I found a blood bottle. I didn't milk blood out of anything. So, when I grab this right now, this thing's gonna electrify. It might kill me instantly. I'm not sure actually. No, but if I were to grab this wand right now, see, it almost zapped me. You got to be careful of that. Now this is all gonna keep putting out electricity and electrocuting this area, so you need to be careful. It'll kill you very fast if you get electrocuted. That's just something to be wary of. We'll talk about wands when you get to the next holy mountain, because that's where I can edit them and kind of explain things. But this is what's called a puzzle in this game, essentially. They get harder the lower you go, basically. There's plenty of them in the game for you to mess around with and figure out how they work. It's lots of fun. They typically reward you with wands or spells. That's my experience anyways. Typically wands, actually, with spells on them. But I want this dig bolt, so I'm going to grab this and potentially die. No, we're good. Okay. So let's move on from that. Puzzles are a good way to get wands early on. And you'll know it's a puzzle because it kind of stands out from the rest of the biome that you're in. And that also leads me to say explore. I cannot emphasize enough that you should explore in this game. Now, you don't have to do it right away. You can always do this much later. You don't have to start exploring the first time you play the game. That's not really expected, but it's a good thing to know. Electricity is very killer because, for one, it'll stun you. If you're in any liquids, it travels through that liquid. If you're on metal, it'll travel through metal. I think there's some other materials that it'll travel through, but I'm not entirely sure. Anything with this little zappy particles that come off of it, if you have an electric spell on your wand and you're holding it, that can zap you in the water. So if you see electricity like this, danger. But usually if you pick it up, it's only when you're holding it out. So if I pick this thing up, see, I'm holding it out, it's zapping. This could electrify water that I'm in, or other things, potentially blowing up a barrel even, because it's made of metal. I forgot to grab the thing to the right that I was talking about. So as I was saying, kicking, very valuable. Can kill things with physics or fire. Let's see if I can get this guy. There you go, he's on fire now. And he died to it because he was already low health, I guess. Kicking is very useful. Don't underestimate it. Use it a lot. Very, very good. And find your gold in the pile of powder, because sometimes that's where it goes. And if you kill something near like a ceiling, it'll also... Okay, so I'm pretty sure this can electrify the water. I've never had it happen to me before, but I want to know now. We're going to sit here for a second and see if it zaps the water. But a general rule of thumb is if you see these particles, it can electrocute the water. And in turn you. It looks like it's not. But I wouldn't trust that. I would not trust that. If something looks like it's going to kill you in this game, it will. If it doesn't look like it, it will. And if you think it definitely can't kill you, it probably can. But okay, let's go all the way over to the right here so I can get a good tool for the early game. What the hell? We just got wombo comboed, man. He threw a grenade at us, or dynamite at us, and then the other guy shotgunned us. We're gonna throw a dynamite back at him. Okay, we need to be wary of this shotgunner. They do pretty good damage. Also melee. Enemies will melee you if you get too close, most of the time. The exception to that is like, I don't know, turrets, things that mostly just have guns, robot type stuff. Okay, so here we go. This is what I was coming over here for. I'm gonna drink all this acceleratium and just throw that. This is an emerald tablet. They have some hints for secrets on them if you really like riddles and trying to dissect things like that. I like to use it as a physical weapon. So, as I was saying, kicking things is very dangerous. So is throwing things. You can throw things at enemies and they will die, and it will reward double gold if it's like a physics tablet like this thing. Not a potion is what I'm saying. So if you kick something at them like a minecart, that could kill them and give you double gold. Same goes if you throw a tablet at them and it squishes them. That will also reward double gold, like this guy. I missed. Hold on. We have to try again. Ready? Bang. I squished him. He dropped double gold. And it also blocks his bullets, so that's good to know. If you're getting shot at, you can throw it at him and, like, prevent him from hitting you, basically. But that was a terribly weak throw, so I'm gonna pretend I didn't do that. And now he's spewing toxic sludge everywhere. There we go. We got him. We need to douse ourselves in water, get rid of that toxic sludge. I don't know if I mentioned it. Most of the time, 95% of the time, it's more worth it to not take the damage than to get the money. I'm very bad at this rule. I'm very bad at following this rule. Also, if you didn't notice there, that guy only dropped 1 gold, even though I killed him with the tablet, which I don't know if that's a bug or if there's some sort of intended mechanic there, but sometimes if you kill stuff with physics objects, it'll still not count as a what do we call it? A trick kill and give rewarding double gold. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Maybe there's some way it decides that you did it instead. I don't know. But sometimes it won't. Anyways, as I was saying, there's a vat of toxic sludge. If there's a gold in it, it's not worth jumping in there for 10 gold. Look, I've already got 540 gold. I haven't really been focused on gathering gold much. And I'm also at 26 health, which was my other point. Health is more valuable than gold. I do it all the time. Don't. Listen to my word. Do as I say, not as I do. That's just how I'm gonna leave that, basically. Don't jump into the toxic sludge for 10 gold. I do it all the time, but you really shouldn't if you want to actually be good. It's not worth it. It's much more worth it to just leave it, go kill something else. There's plenty of enemies in the game. Basically an unlimited amount. So you can always go find money somewhere else. Even the money in the walls. Like if you can dig, like we have this dig bolt that I found. It's not on a very good wand right now, but you can see I can eat away at the terrain. Now there's some terrain that's denser than others, like this damp rock. Takes a lot longer to dig with this terrible digging bolt. But the ground can be easily dug by this stuff. So you could just dig through it with ease, basically. And wood is also easy to dig. So if you do that, if you use one of these tools, a digging bolt, for example. Also, I'm very slow right now because I'm covered in slime. So if we wash that off, I'll speed back up again. But if we dig with this, see this gold is actual gold. You can dig this out and then collect it, which it all fell down. So that was kind of a bad example. It wasn't a big enough vein either. But if you don't want to kill enemies and you have a way to dig, you can dig through. Even like using dynamite. That's why dynamite is like one of my favorite starts, because it's so good at digging. You can dig through and get to the money. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get this to blow up properly. There you go. That all fell down. We can collect it. We just got like another 100 gold from that. That was easy. You don't need to kill enemies to get money in this game. So, let's see. Was there anything else I needed to talk about here? Oh yeah. So heart formations. There is a way to get bonus health in this game. You aren't just stuck with 100. There are hearts that you can pick up, much like games like Terraria or Legend of Zelda, if you will. Another heart canister. They will give you an extra 25 hearts or hit points. Sorry, an extra 25 hit points or health. So if you find one of these heart formations, you'll get much better at figuring out what that is in the future. Some of these, hearts get more common the deeper you go, which if you go straight down, which is basically the main, I don't know, game loop, I guess. If you go straight down, that's where you're gonna find most of your hearts, further down. But there are heart formations which will help you, which can make it easier for you to find the hearts. Also, the only reason I went through that is because I was doused in water. You can't get caught on fire so long as you're doused. But it'll tick down faster if you are standing in fire. Also, I got scared because those are explosive next to fire, and they can explode just from the fire. So be careful. I get distracted so easily. This is awful. Heart formations. So there are certain formations that you can look for once you get used to it that will give you, or typically have heart. Oh, this is a healthier guy. Okay, we need to get out of here. I'll show the heart formations later because we're probably gonna die if I don't get out of here. We are at 5 hit points. So once you're below about, I don't know, 30% health or so, that's when you need to start thinking about getting the hell out of there and going to the next zone. And like I said, don't waste your health like I do, because I'm not that good at this game yet, apparently. These ones in the Holy Mountains, which is where we just teleported to, this is essentially your safe zone. Enemies can still get in here, by the way, so don't think it's entirely safe. Don't just AFK. You should pause the game always. If you go away from your keyboard, always pause and save and quit, whatever, so your cat doesn't jump on the keyboard and hit continue for you. But this is a Holy Mountain. This is essentially your safe zone in between levels. You go down to the portal, teleport through it, you get into the Holy Mountain. This is where you get your health pickup, which, as you saw, gives you 10 extra hit points and replenishes your health. The normal hearts that you find in the heart formations, which hopefully I'll find one so I can show an example, give you 25 hit points, but they do not replenish your health. So if you find that, or if you're full health when you get here, don't grab this. You can go look for, I say don't grab it, you should grab it when you're first starting the game. Once you figure out ways to avoid collapsing the Holy Mountain, you can go and get another heart, and then come back and raise your health pool and actually get extra health from it instead of just filling up 10 extra points. This is what's called a spell refresher. So if you see I have 1 bomb, I'm going to pull them off of my wand so you can see easier. I have 1 bomb and 9 TNT. Whenever you pick this up, anything with a number next to it like this will be replenished. So it's back up to 3, which is the max, and 16, which is the max. That's what the spell refresher is for. So if you don't need it, you don't have to take it. You can come back and take it later. As long as the gods are not, someone in chat said, as long as the gods are not angry, always wait before you pick up the heart in the Holy Mountain in case there's a bonus health gain perk. That is a valid point. You can, this is an insane shot, by the way, for those of you who know. You can go all the way to the right over here, and this is where you'll get your 1 perk. You only get to choose 1 of these, but it shows 3. It'll get rid of the other 2, unless you have a perk, but we'll get to that later, if we find it. You can choose 1 of 3 perks. Now, typically, most of the perks will fall into a few categories. So it's going to be offensive, defensive, or utility. And then there's also these one-offs, which kind of can do a combination. They can all be a combination of, you know, offensive, defensive, utility, that type of stuff. Some are better than others, obviously. It's not always the best thing in the world. Sometimes you'll get, like we did here, and get stuff that's not very good. But there's some one-offs, like this, high mana, low capacity. Those can be useful if you have, like, a really good wand with good stats, which we'll talk about in a second, but it doesn't have very good mana or mana recharge rate, which it doesn't say, but I think this buffs that as well. And you can take that if you just basically just need, you just need that, or if you think this wand is really good, if I get a little more mana on this, but I don't need all these slots and it'll be freaking incredible, you can take that. This isn't a very good perk. Most of the time you don't want to take this. Same with like this Revenge Tentacle. Although I encourage you to take things and test it and try it out, this Revenge Tentacle can be very hazardous. I'm just going to leave it at that. It basically, whenever you get hit, launches out a tentacle. That tentacle can grab things like enemies, projectiles, explosive barrels, pull them into you and blow you up. It does give you 25% resistance against projectiles though, so I mean there's a little bit of a benefit from it, but low recoil. Recoil caused by your spells greatly reduced. Basically, choose whatever you think is necessary for your current run. You always want to think about what's best for you at the moment. Not, oh, but if I get this, it's going to be really good. Don't do that. It's not worth it, I promise. This is definitely a game about pacing yourself, being patient, and not... what would I say here? Not rushing through things. Don't dwell on the past either, because you're going to make some bad decisions. Thanks, Saya. Cool. Hopefully I might cut this down into a shorter form video as well, but I might also just make a separate one that's a little more compact, because I ramble a shit ton. it's really hard. This is always how I was doing school projects as well. But if you don't like any of your perks, there's this reroll machine up here. You can go up here. It'll say E to purchase perk reroll. If you reroll that, it'll give you 3 completely new perks. And this can be done as many times as you want, but it'll always double the price. So you want to be very cautious of doing this too much, because then you won't be able to reroll later if you have like such a terrible roll, basically. So you don't want to use this that much, really. But if you're searching for like if you had 3 terrible perks like we just did, you can take this. You can reroll it and potentially get something very good, like All-Seeing Eye, which lets you see literally everywhere. There's no darkness. It's fantastic. I love it. Or Perk Lottery. Like as I was saying earlier, this is a perfect example when I said you pick one, 3, the other 2 disappear. This one, there's a 50% chance the others won't disappear. So even if I grab this right now, I'm going to grab it just to show you. Yeah, for science, exactly. So if I grab this, there's a 50% chance these other 2 won't disappear. And look at that, they didn't. Perfect example of a perk that could be useful. It's a utility perk. Both of these are actually. All-Seeing Eye is also a utility perk, which I would argue is also defensive and offensive. That's why this is such a good perk. I don't need to get into all the tiers of perks, but this perk is very good. The only downside being there's no dark spots where you haven't gone. So if you explore and you get lost, it's going to be a lot harder to find your way back. Oh my god, we literally got both of them. But anyways, I could also show that didn't happen. Now I could re-roll this again, and it'll make a different perk show up. Extra item in every holy mountain. We'll take that too. So that just puts more items like here whenever you're buying at the shop. So let's get back to the shop now that I have 3 perks from the first holy mountain. But maybe we shouldn't go to the shop yet. Hold on. Hold. I need to explain wands. Let's explain the wands. Okay. So your starting wand, like I said earlier, starts with 1 of 4 projectiles. Spark Bolt, Bouncing Burst, Spitter Bolt, or Energy Sphere. We can actually see almost all of them here. Here's Energy Sphere. I'll just show you what they all look like since we have a little bit of money. I need to buy this so that we can come back later and I can explain more things. But you start with those 4. This is what the Energy Sphere looks like and why I don't like it, because it shoots much slower due to... Well, actually on this wand it doesn't, but due to cast delay. And also because it doesn't dig like ice and snow like the other one does. But it does bounce, which can be useful. Also, there's these target dummies here that you can shoot to test your damage out for your wands. Now, the first 2 wands you start with typically aren't very good. Like this first one we're going to talk about. First, let's talk about all the stats that are on the wands and kind of explain what they mean. So, all wands have these, what is it, 7, 8 stats. And also some hidden stats that I'm not an expert on. I think there's a hidden speed stat that dictates how fast your wand like projectiles fly. But the first one is shuffle. This is a no or yes. If it's no, every time you cast stuff, it'll be in the order you place it in here. So this is going to cast a Spark Bolt and then an Energy Sphere. That's what it's going to do every single time. Spark Bolt, Energy Sphere. And you can see it up here too, by the way. So that is what shuffle, no shuffle means. So we have a shuffle wand here. If I put all this stuff on here, it's going to be random. So the first one isn't always going to be Digging Bolt. It was Energy Sphere. That it was energy sphere again. So it shot this one twice in a row. So it's shuffle, yes. It shuffles all the spells that are inside of this. Now, that's almost always bad. You almost always want no shuffle. Like, if you're looking for a wand to actually build, you want no shuffle. You can't really do it with shuffle wands. They're useful, but not as useful as no shuffle. The next stat is spells per cast. So all of these say 1 right now. But if you had a wand that said spells per cast 2, for example, and you had 2 spark bolts on there, and you clicked 1 time, it would shoot 2 spark bolts. 2 spells instead of just the 1 or whatever. However many spells it said spells per cast is. The next stat is cast delay. This is how long it takes in between spells to shoot. So if I hold left click, or if I hold left click, the delay in between the first and second one will be exactly, what is it, 0.25 seconds plus the 0.05 from each of these projectiles, or the first projectile. So the first projectile adds 0.05 to the 0.25. That means the cast delay would be 0.3 after casting this. It'll wait 0.3 seconds and then cast the second one. So you hold it, that's 0.3 seconds in between 1 and 2. I hope that was accurate enough. It's kind of hard to explain, especially when it's so fast, but like, yeah. So this one with the lower cast delay would shoot much faster than shoot its 2 spells much faster in quicker succession. Not much faster because it's actually only faster by 0.03 seconds, but you get the idea. So that's the time in between the spells that are all the spells that are on the wand. It'll take 0.22 plus the cast delay on the spell that was just cast. So 0.27 seconds for this wand. Now there's also recharge time, which I should probably explain on the top one because it's might not blocked by my camera. Let me move that up there to the first slot so you can see better. The next one is recharge time. So this wand has a 0.38 recharge time. So that means when I shoot 2 spells in the top right here, you'll see the orange bar pop up. That's it. That's the wand recharging. Now, every time you get to the end of your wand, it'll do the recharge. It's just the way it is. You have to recharge to get back to the beginning. Now, if you do something like a digging bolt, the recharge time is much faster because... Oh, I put two of those on there. The recharge time is much faster because this digging bolt reduces the recharge time by 0.17 seconds. So this recharge time goes down to 2.9. Or, sorry, 1.9. 1.9? 2.1. 0.21, sorry, 0.21 seconds after you cast this digging bolt. So that means it's shorter to cast in between these spark bolts instead of just having one on there. Oh, okay, I'm explaining it poorly because they're not in the same cast, but you get the idea. It reduces the recharge time whenever this is cast. So if I put this one on here, the recharge time is much shorter than if I have this one on here. See, it's casting. This thing's filling up much slower, basically, is the way to look at it. This one's it's filling up much faster now because it's 0.21 instead of 0.38. So that's how recharge time works. Now there's ways to get around it. Like if I had this triple scatter spell here, we can make the recharge time faster for every loop if we cast the digging bolt at the same time as the spark bolt, because whatever the cast block is, like what appears up here, whatever the cast block is, all that recharge time and cast delay, bar some exceptions, is applied to the wand. This is hard to explain. Also, I'm getting hot. I think I need to take the robe off. Hold up. Oh, jeez. I think this shirt is also unideally hot, but that's okay. Let's move this guy out of the way. Turn up the fan a little, maybe. Hopefully it's not audible. Okay, so as I was saying, that stat recharge time basically indicates how long the wand takes to recharge after using up all the spells in the wand. So if I put all these in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can see for just a second it's recharging. But the reason it's so short the reason the recharge time is so short is because it starts from the first spell cast. Or, oh, it doesn't start from the first spell cast. I don't know why it's so short then. It just seems like it may because this is a really fast recharging wand. Or not really fast, but faster than 2 seconds, for example. So there is a way to reduce the recharge time, though, with multiple spell casts. It's just you have to link them together to be in one clump, one cluster, like I was saying with this thing. So, like, if you had the digging bolt in with these, then the recharge time would be much shorter. But it's not because they're not linked together. Yeah, anyways. I should just move on from that because I'm explaining it to the point where it's getting confusing in my own brain, I think. Now you have max mana, which basically is just how much mana you can use per cast. We don't have anything here. We have a black hole that costs 180 mana. So that would be able to be cast, basically. You have to add up everything. Like if I had this triple... Oops, I alt-tabbed. If I had this triple scatter spell here, basically what it does is cast 3 spells at once that are in front of it, which I can show later. But if you have it here... You put the 3 spells in there and you cast them. It'll cast all 3 at once and then it'll be out of spells, so it'll start recharging. But if you were to put the digging bolt in there and this and that, it would cost 5 mana plus 5 mana plus 0 mana. So this clump would cost 10 mana plus whatever the triple scatter spell costs, which I think is 0 or 1 mana. So if you were to add all these things in there, it would cost 190 instead of 180. Or you get the idea. The whole clump, all the mana costs get added up, and then if it's over that mana max, it'll just exclude the most expensive spell first, basically. Or all the most expensive spells down to when you're able to cast it. So if I had if I had this wand and then I had something that costs like 240 and then 10, or let's say 15 and 10, it would exclude the 240 first. That's just how the max mana works. And then mana charge speed is how much mana you recharge. I don't know what the time is, but it's how fast you recharge mana on that wand. So if I were to cast, let's see, this bomb costs, okay, this dynamite costs 50. So if I were to cast this, that mana recharges in about 1 second, I think, because the mana charge speed's 49. I'm assuming it's per second. That's what it seems like. 1 Mississippi, boom, it's full. So that's how fast your mana recharges for your wand. Next is the capacity. That is how many slots your wand has, essentially. How many spells you can stuff in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, 6 capacity. And the final thing is spread, which is your inaccuracy. Now, all of these stats can also be affected by the spells on the wand, and also perks, like you saw earlier, the increased mana for half capacity. So if I took that on this wand, it would cut the capacity down to 3 instead of 6. And it would increase the mana max probably up to like 1,000 something. And increase the mana recharge speed as well, I believe. I need more water because I'm talking too much. So all these things can be affected. Like I was mentioning, this digging bolt has the cast delay on it, plus 0.02. So that would bring this up to 0.24 cast delay. And then the minus set 0.17 recharge time, which brings the recharge time down to 0.21. So then this would be 0.24, 0.21. Wait, 0.24, 0.21? Is that right? I guess so. Okay. So, then that would mean that the cast delay, so in between the first two would be 0.24 seconds, and then the recharge time would be 0.3 or 0.21 seconds, basically. So to refresh the wand, whatever it's called. I don't know how to explain this without like a double spell or something. It makes it easier to understand, I think. But that affects the stats on the wand, basically. Same with this spark bolt. Plus 0.05 cast delay. So casting spark bolts is slower than casting like dig bolts because they have plus 0.02 cast delay. So the time in between that is shorter than the time in between this by 0.03 seconds or something along those lines. This black hole adds a 1.33 seconds to the cast delay. So even though the recharge time is only 0.38 seconds, because that cast delay would now be like 1.55 seconds, you'd have to wait 1.55 seconds instead of the 0.38 for the recharge time. So they kind of take the highest of the two. So if recharge time is higher, then it takes that long to recharge the wand. If cast delay is higher, then it takes that long before you could cast again. And they kind of like are both a factor, in a sense. You kind of have to play with it, get a feel for it, and then you'll understand how it works more easily. So I should have mentioned, actually, this is, in Holy Mountains is the only place you could tinker with wands until you get a perk that allows you to tinker anywhere. Tinker with wands anywhere. That's one of the best perks in the game. But so this is taken away if you were to run out of the mountain without, like, you say, okay, I got my wand, I'm ready to leave. You go up through here. If you trigger, there's a box here. If you jump through that, it's going to break the Holy Mountain, and then you cannot tinker anymore. So there's ways to get around that. And I'm going to use it to explain another thing, which is you should not be afraid to enrage the gods. Also, I shouldn't have bought these spells. Maybe I can explain Spitterbolt timer here. So like a timer is something that after the timer runs out, it casts another spell. Now you're going to have to pay for both these spells. So this is going to cost 15 mana. But anything after like a timer, or this thing is a trigger, so if this hits something, it'll cast another spell. Anything after that doesn't apply to the cast delay of from here to this spark bolt. So the cast delay will still just be 0.2 because this has a minus 0.02 and the wand is 0.22. It won't take into account this plus 0.05 cast delay or even the black hole. So it'll cast these two in rapid succession, basically, and then the black hole will be cast, and it won't add the cast delay to that spell clump cluster, whatever you call it, whatever appears here whenever you cast. So if I do the dynamite, this has a plus 0.83 cast delay. It'll still shoot the spark bolt rather quickly after the spitter bolt. Now, as you can see, the Spitterbolt timer will throw the TNT once that timer runs out. So if I shoot this, the TNT will fly out around right here because that's how long the timer lasts, essentially. There it goes. Flies off into the distance. And this also triggers when the projectile expires. So if you were to hit an enemy with this and the projectile disappears, it still triggers the TNT. I just want to make that apparent. But that's essentially how you build things in this game, or build spells in this game, wands, is there's things with triggers or timers, and then you can kind of chain together more spells using that. So like this dig bolt I just put on this will do extra damage to something if I were to shoot it, like this guy. I think, anyways, I think this is supposed to do damage to enemies. But if you had a chainsaw, for example, that definitely does damage. It would show on this guy that it's doing more damage than just the spitter bolt. That's the basics of building wands in this game. I really need to move on because we're wasting a lot of time in this holy mountain. But also, don't feel like you're wasting time. I'm just trying to still be entertaining while explaining things, but don't be afraid to waste time in this game. It's not wasted time if you're learning. So another thing I want everybody to know, and I should probably, just in case this fails, maybe put something else on here. So a good tip is, because the secondary wand usually has really decent cast delay and recharge time, this one has really bad mana charge speed, but you can put the spell that you get from your main wand onto the bomb wand, is what we call it, this red one, and it fires much faster but has less mana recharge and mana capacity typically. I guess the max mana is actually more, but the recharge on this is 5 instead of 36. so it's going to be really hard to use this for longer time because the mana recharges so slowly. But that is a good option if you don't get any good wands from the first zone. You can swap those two and like put the bombs on this wand, for example. But we actually got okay wands, so we can use this one after I explain something, like with getting out of the holy mountain without collapsing it. This is something that is very valuable, and if you're trying to learn and survive and kind of expand your knowledge of this game, it's very valuable to dig out of the holy mountain. Now, it's going to do something. It's going to say the gods are angry, and then it's going to spawn an enemy who's quite difficult to deal with. But, and I'm hoping that I don't do this wrong because it's going to look silly and we're going to die. But, so if you dig out here, there's actually one of these statues. Like I said earlier, if you kick things into enemies, typically it squishes them, gives you double gold. This is also a good way to get money, which I'll show you right now. But this is going to spawn an enemy when I dig through here, because there's a big collision box all around the Holy Mountain that if you dig out of it, basically it's going to make people mad. That's a spoiler? Is that a spoiler? Okay. I guess that's a spoiler. Yeah, that's right. Maybe I shouldn't explain that part. Okay, but just know you can dig out. It's going to make somebody mad. Don't be too afraid. You can use physics to kill him. I'm going to give you that. I'll just leave you with that. Now the dogs are going nuts. They don't like this. That was a bad idea. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Okay, so we made a really basic wand here. We're just going to use this thing, and then we're going to put digging on this bomb wand because it costs no mana, but it is good for a recharge and castily. I'm glad I got my viewers here to tell me that I shouldn't do that. Okay. So we're just know there's ways to get out of here and come back, and you can use that to further your runs, because you're gonna. That's one of the things that I definitely wouldn't have figured out for a very long time. So we're just gonna leave here, and now we can come back after we break it down still and buy spells, which is what we're gonna do. And now, see, we got this digging bolt. We can use it to dig around and collect money. This is something that's very handy. You could use dynamite too, but I didn't put it on anything. You could use the black holes. They work really well. Now, some stuff's easier to dig through than others, like I said. So like this coal vein, really easy to dig through. Rock, not so much. Gray rock, damp rock, that type of stuff. Digging bolt's not so good. But the coal you can easily dig through with a digging bolt. So that's mainly what I'm going to do in this stage to get money. If you happen to find something like this. If not, you can just kill enemies. Find something else to dig. There's plenty to do. Let's go through here. Get a lot of money. And I could go back up and get some of those spells. And then I'll show you how they work in the next Holy Mountain, because we collapsed the first one. Let's see. Do I have anything else that I needed to talk about here? I do, but I didn't have the money for it. Oh, it's gonna be okay. Okay, let me consult the jury here. Do you think tablet? The mechanics around his appearance are really interesting. Okay, I guess so. Okay, so there's something also useful with physics objects, like a tablet that you can do. I don't know if that's a spoiler. Is that a spoiler, Gerald? Tell me if that's a spoiler. I think that might be. I don't know. It's something that it's like, I definitely wouldn't have figured that out, but I can see if somebody would be upset if I said that, maybe. I don't know. If you had something like levitatium, you can use that to get back up here as well. Let's just see if I can tap my boost, which is a good way to get up higher. You don't want to hold your boost. Okay, I did actually. I was able to tap my boost to get all the way up here. And then we could dig back through here with the rock. Or with the digging bolt. Now we have extra money. Boom. Buy all the stuff that we want. Give me that stuff. But, booyah. Okay, well now, we crumbled this mountain, so we can't craft here. But we can go out to, what do you call it? The next Holy Mountain and use these spells. Since we didn't have enough money to buy them, we were able to go back up and buy them. That's something very valuable to know. You can always go back. I'm just going to leave it at that, because that could be spoiler. This guy might beat us up. Okay, no, we're good. Those guys can get headshot also, so you should always be aiming for their heads when you get the opportunity. And trying to put myself out. There's a lot of enemies here. Holy cow. So the zones get obviously progressively more difficult as you go down, and for whatever reason this guy's not putting me out. Still, health is your most valuable resource. You don't want to waste it like I do. Do as I say, not as I do. We're gonna kill these guys, dump some water in here, so we can get our money without getting too toxic. hopefully. And then kill this bozo. Okay, now, I'm greedy. Don't do as I do. But we're gonna dig through here. This isn't dangerous. We can just go get some money. At least I don't think it's dangerous, but like I said, many things can kill you, even though it seems they can't. Hopefully I can find a heart formation with a heart in it so you can see what I'm talking about. Why is that on fire? Sometimes things just catch on fire, sometimes things just explode. That's the way Noita goes. I don't know where that fire came from, but that's the way it is. Okay, so there's a chest up here. You can see that chest because we have all-seeing eye. Everything's all lit up like I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna jump down and get that because I know typically if there is an enemy down there, it's gonna be like a dynamite thrower, shotgun guy maybe. Spidey. Oh my god. Oh, we're out of water. Okay, let's catch some here. See, it's filling up the bottle. Ever so slightly. So, like I said earlier, we can dump this in here and make some more water, actually. Just mix it up a bit and kill this guy. He's gonna run away from us, apparently. I thought he was gonna get us, but no. Okay. Jump in here. Mix up the water. Mix it up. Okay, there we go. This is gunpowder. That's a little dangerous. Let's get away from that. Because those stinking bugs drop lava. There's more over here as well. Mix this up. And the mine shaft in the level isn't filling out. How's the wand going to find it? If the mine shaft in the level isn't filling out, how's the wand going to find it? What? I'm a little confused here. Or are you saying if it's not lit up, how are you gonna find it? Yeah. So that's what I was gonna explain in a second here. So the mine shaft and level. I think I know what you're talking about. But so if you come into a zone and you see like a puddle of water, like this specific shape right here, this is a heart formation. So this can be a heart formation. Will have typically a heart, or a chest, or I believe an item of some sort. You can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but typically it's a chest or a what do you call it? Anything outside the tutorial? Straight shot down. Yeah. Okay. So the chests can drop wands. Yeah, that is risky because, like I said, anything that shocks can kill you. And there are some electric things. Like if that wand had a spell that was electric on it, that could shock me. So just be careful about that. They can also drop stuff like deadly explosives potentially. So I'm just gonna say that. But chests can drop wands, items, things of that sort. You can see this has spitter bolts with timers, so it's spitting out a bunch of spitter bolts whenever they expire. Except I only have enough mana to cast 2, I think, because they cost 50 mana each. Oh no, that time it'll do 4 because I had full mana. But whatever. Anyways, yes, there's heart formations. If you find a heart, look around, make sure you understand that, you know, this is like a generated structure essentially, and you can see, hi baby, and you can see that it's something that could be repeated elsewhere. So if you find a, oh boy, hold on, we're getting our butt kicked because I got stuck in coal powder. If you find a heart, basically just look at it and realize that if you find something that looks like that again, there might be a heart there, basically. That's what I mean about heart formations. There's also a mod to help you with it if you want to use that as a resource. It'll show you with particle effects and like a circle what a heart formation is, or show you the heart formations in your world. So that can help you learn and understand what heart formations to look for, basically. I don't know of all the heart formations because I still only have about 80 hours in this game. But it is a valuable tip, is to just look for, if you find something, it's gonna look the same potentially another time. Hearts specifically, and chests. We're about to die because I'm getting careless talking. Oh god, this enemy's kind of dangerous. He's shooting mines and shotgun bolt, or mines and a gun at us. So another tip is you can run away. You don't have to fight everything. You can always just leave. You don't have to fight all the enemies that you encounter. Like this guy, I'm just gonna dig around and get away from him. And keep going. Really, I should turn and go down. We're gonna just go down and get out of here, basically. Oh god. Okay, let's oh jeez, that guy didn't die. And that is okay, and then okay, we gotta dig through here to get out, but that's okay. That's why we have a digging tool. It's very useful. See you later, bozo. Okay, we're into the next holy mountain. Now I can explain some more of the wand building mechanics. Now, I shouldn't have taken that because I didn't need it, but that's okay. Here we go. These are some really good spells here, actually. Now, this is the most useful spell in the game. You're going to use this in 95% of your wand builds. Sparkbolt with a trigger. What this does... Oh, yeah. Exactly. Ugh. What this does is if you put anything on here, it'll cast that once this hits something. So if I shoot it and it hits that guy, you see that did 13 damage? That's because it's getting hit by both of these spells. First it's shooting the trigger, and then it's spawning the energy sphere, which hits him and bounces off in this case. So that does 13 damage because this is 3 plus 5 and then 5 damage slice. So this is 10 total damage. So that's doing 13 every hit. Just without it, it's doing 3. Now, like I said earlier, if we take the triple scatter spell, this is a type of multicast, I guess. I would call it, I don't know. I guess it is a multicast, it's its own type, but I would call it like a utility, basically. It's just, I think it's multicast just because there's so many different multicasts in the game. But it's essentially allows you to cast multiple spells at once. So if I put like Energy Sphere, Spark Bolt, Spitter Bolt Timer, just so you can see, it'll cast all 3 of those once this trigger hits. You see Spark Bolt, let me shoot it in the water so it's easier to see. You got Spark Bolt that flies out, and then you got the Energy Sphere, which is the blue one, and the Spitter Bolt, which is the purple one that dissipates faster. So that's what this does. This is how you get many more spells to cast than just the one that you're casting off rip, basically. Chainsaw. Okay. One of the best spells in the game. Any Noita player is going to tell you that Chainsaw is like the best spell in the game, basically. The reason for that is it has a minus recharge time. It costs 1 mana. It does decent damage, actually, if you manage to use it on something. Like, for example, at the end of a trigger bolt. Spark Bolt with the trigger. This does 13 damage, plus the 3. This will do 16 damage if I hit something with it. There you go. Pollen's greater than Chainsaw. Alright, buddy. Listen here. I guess you could go the pollen route too, but... So, if I do this on the Chainsaw, like I said earlier, remember anything past a trigger will not count towards the cast delay. So if I put this here, and I were to put this 0.17 cast delay and this 0.83 cast delay, that's not going to be affected. That's not going to add to the cast delay between first Spark Bolt trigger and next Spark Bolt trigger. So this will still shoot just as fast as it was earlier, but now it's shooting all of these things out. As long as I have enough mana. If I don't have enough mana, it won't cast all of them. So that is how this sort of chaining works with like a multicast spell. Now, if you were to put this in the front, you can just use it kind of like shotgun. But now, because there isn't a spell in front of this, like a trigger, it is adding up all of these cast delays and making this cast slower, essentially. Because this is the first, I don't know how to explain, it's the first section, I guess, of your cast. So this is where all of it's coming from. Now if I put something like this here in a chainsaw, this trigger is going to cast that chainsaw. This doesn't affect it because it's inside of the trigger. It's outside of the main spell cast here. So that it's still shooting just as fast. But if I were to put this here, then it's going to shoot faster because that chainsaw's recharge time and hidden cast delay, which reduces the cast delay significantly, I'm just going to say that, will make it shoot much faster, but it is using a lot of mana at this point. So there's this mechanic. I don't know. Should I explain what wand wrapping is? I don't know if I should do that. I mean, I think. I don't know. That's kind of a intended mechanic that is harder to find out and understand. Yeah, it's not a spoiler. Okay. So if you have a chainsaw, which is why this is like the best thing in the game, and then you have a multicast and something else, or any spell really. So if you cast this the first time, what's going to happen is it's going to subtract that recharge time from your wand, or cast delay, or if you have like this spell called add mana modifier, it's going to apply that. And then you have a multicast and you don't use all the spells, it's going to go searching back to the front of the wand up until this spell, essentially, for something that it can cast. So if I cast first, it's just going to cast the chainsaw, and then if I cast again, you saw really fast, because that's how fast it is, it'll cast this the second time. So it casted the chainsaw again, even though it's not here, it's basically putting it there. And then it'll get back to this thing. So this is what's called wand wrapping. I think if I did this, it would be the same. No, not quite. Because it would have to cast this and then this, and it doesn't loop properly. But so if I were to do this, then it's essentially casting this twice. Because you're casting this once, and then it's looping and casting it again. And then you're looping and casting it again. So it's significantly reducing the recharge time. So it shoots very, very fast. And this is like probably the first wand that you're going to make where you're like, damn, this shit's pretty cool. So once you do this, and mind you, you could still do like a trigger on there and shoot a bunch of energy spheres out. But if you were to do a trigger here, I think it would break it, because the trigger's not, it's looping, the trigger's looping to find something, not this. So it's putting it inside of the trigger and nullifying the cast delay that you're adding to it, basically. But if I were to do this, there you go, look at that, going nuts. Same with, for example, if I were to, so see how fast this thing goes right now? If I were to put this here, now it's even faster. Like we could mow through some stuff with this. But anyways, this is wand wrapping. Essentially, you cast a multicast spell, there's not enough stuff for it to grab, so it goes to the beginning and takes that. That's how wand wrapping works. Now you can use this in a multitude of ways. I am not qualified to explain how deep you can go with it. I suggest looking at Dunker Slam's video on that, because he's probably where I learned most of my stuff. And Fury Forged as well. Dunker Slam's pretty good about being spoiler free, and so is Fury Forged. They at least say there's a spoiler coming. So just be wary of that if you do go there. What else am I explaining here? I think that's pretty much it for wand wrapping at the very basic level. You can make machine gun wands, and this is the first one that is basically going to be able to carry you through most of your experience through the tutorial, as we call it. Now we have another trigger here, but this one costs more mana. So typically people don't use this one over the spark bolt trigger. That's why I said you're going to be using the spark bolt trigger for like 90% of your wands that you build, essentially. But let's see here. Actually, if I do, I mean, I don't think it's going to be as fast. Oh wait, am I? What is happening there? Did I put the, oh, I put the chainsaw there. Okay. Yeah. Never mind. But you can still wrap and put triggers inside of things. So like another useful thing to do is like if you have double spells are more useful in this regard, because it doesn't give you plus 20 degrees on your spread. It makes it much more accurate. But you can still do the whole chainsaw wand wrapping thing. But if you have like a double spell, you can put on the double spell there instead, and then if you put a trigger and like some damaging thing on the end of it, it'll be much more accurate instead of flying all over the place like this. Also, that timer was a bad example because it's making it, it's taking the chainsaw. There you go. That's better. I'm getting carried away here. Now is a good time to explain like projectile modifiers. This is another like big type of spell, how you get a lot of your damage from your wands and kind of proceed through the game. So if we have just this basic spark bolt here, you can see it's just that basic spark bolt being cast. If you have these blue spells, it's dark blue, these are what are known as projectile modifiers. So like this one, light, for example, only drains 1 mana, and it says it makes a projectile illuminates its surroundings. So if I put that on this wand with the spark bolt, you can see it lights up where it's shooting, and it actually is being cast with the spark bolt. Now, if I were to put that behind it, it's gonna count it still as like a spell. So the way that it's looping, it's taking this and it's saying, oh, there's no projectile in front of me, so it's grabbing that one and putting it there. So that's why the first cast is a spark bolt and second cast is a spark bolt with light, basically. So projectile modifiers still kind of work in the same way that like a multicast is, except it just goes to the next thing and it keeps adding. It's not like casting something, it's adding it to the next spell that it finds, essentially. And something that is not so obvious, so if you have like a scatter spell here, and then you put light inside of it, and you have multiple spark bolts, both of these spark bolts are going to have that light on it. So that's something that's good to know. I wish they would spread out a little so you could tell that the light is actually on both of them. But anything you put inside of here is going to apply to both of, like the whole cluster, basically. I don't think so if you do it though, it's not going to apply to anything outside of this scatter spell. So if I put this spark bolt trigger, that doesn't have light on it, but once it opens up, those two do. See how that works. Now it's essentially the same as putting it in front of the scatter spell, but this is for readability purposes. This is usually how you do it. So those have the light on them as well. It works the same way essentially. So if I were to put like this damage plus, for example, let's do this here. If I were to put it on the front, it's going to make this spark bolt do plus 10 damage and add 0.08 cast delay. 0.08 cast delay to this cast. So it's going to be slower cast delay if I were to have like another 2 spells here or something. Or if I do it like this, for example. It adds a bunch of cast delay between the first 2 casts, but it's kind of hard to explain with just this small setup, I think. Okay, now this is also wand wrapping. Is it? Actually, maybe it's not. I don't know, actually. Maybe not, because this is a trigger, actually. Yeah, no. I don't think that makes sense. But you can, I think you can wand wrap like this, right? Yeah. So this is essentially wand wrapping as well because you're grabbing the chainsaw from the front. I'm getting carried away. Hold on. Okay. We're just gonna explain like the damage plus modifier as well. So like I said, if you put it in here or outside of it, whatever, it'll apply to everything inside. So if I do it right here and then put the chainsaw, let's just do that. It'll make this do plus 10 damage, and then the chainsaw will be not upgraded. So if I shoot it without the chainsaw, it does 13 damage. If I add the chainsaw, it'll do 26 damage. Now, if I were to add it to the chainsaw, this would be doing 3 damage, and this would be doing 23 damage, which is still going to be 26, so that's kind of a bad example. But if I put 2 spells on there, it'll be easier to tell. So now both of these are benefiting from that plus 10 damage. These are both going to be doing 13 each, and this will be doing 3, so this will be doing 29 damage. I believe that's how that works, right? Yeah. But if I put like the chainsaw here, then it's going to be doing 23 plus 12, 13 plus 13, so a lot of damage. There you go, 52 damage. So any way you want to add the damage to like your payload, this is what people call it. You want to put this on the payload instead of the spark bolt trigger. That's basically what I'm getting at here. You want to put all the modifiers that you want to put in the payload, go there. Other ones go behind this. They always go to the thing after it, essentially. That's what I'm trying to explain, but slowly getting to. And this can also be done with like wand wrapping. So if I were to do this or like this could do a lot of damage too. It's just more sporadic and wastes a lot of mana, basically. No, that's not what I want to do. It would be more like, I don't have any more spark. Oh no, I do have one. So you can still wrap and like, look at that, spray, just dump the load basically. That's the same damage putting it inside and outside. Like I said, they're shared no matter which way it's in. Okay, so I think that's the basics. There's also like this critical on oiled enemies. So if an enemy has oil, the oil stain on it, that'll crit. I don't know, I'm kind of getting into specifics now, I think. So I think we can just build a basic wand and kind of move on. A really nice wand I like to do is literally just spark bolt trigger damage plus on the chainsaw. Nice high damage shot. And we can probably move on from there. This has enough mana, very good. Okay. Also, like this, like I said, there are things that can damage you if it's electric. So if I put this on here, you see my wand sparking? That'll electrocute the water. They probably won't do it on this tiny amount. I really don't want to kill myself with that, so we're going to take that off. So if I'm swimming in water and that's on there, you could zap yourself to death. That's just something to be wary of. Also, I was saying people don't use this as much. It has higher cast delay, higher spread, costs more mana. The main reason is it costs more mana. You don't really want to be like spamming something that costs a lot of mana that you're not using for your main damage. That's why Spark Bolt triggers use so much. It's only 10 mana. You just need it to move fast to get your payload to its destination. That's basically it. Oh, God, what am I even spewing about at this point? We're just gonna probably move a little faster now, because I think I've explained all the basic mechanics. If I come across anything now, I think I could explain it more. Okay, let's see. We don't have any money, so we're probably just gonna be taking something. Also, take some things that you've never taken before. Just take whatever you haven't tried out yet, basically. Oh God, too much talking. I need to shut up, don't I? Okay, so if you I've explained most of the stuff. If you don't want to spoil yourself, if you've never gotten this far, or if you want to see the next, don't want to see the next zones, now's a good time to dip out. I've explained the main things that'll help you get further and avoid dying. Hopefully. Hopefully you do as I say and not as I do. There are a multitude of enemies that do things to kill you in ways you don't expect. So just good luck. Enjoy the game. It was fantastic. This is definitely like my favorite, has become one of my favorite games. Easily. I guess I could explain right now with this metal enemy. If you're still around. Enemies have resistances. So this guy takes a reduced damage from slicing damage, which is this chainsaw. And he spews oil. So I should have put crit on oil. I forgot that these guys are in this biome. That's my bad. I'm gonna try and not talk as much now because my voice is starting to hurt. Oh, we lit ourselves on fire. Oh God. Also, you can drown yourself in powder like snow, so be careful. Oh God. I think I've ruined it. I think I ruined my voice. That was a good hour and a half though. That wasn't too bad. Oh God, snipers. Oh God. The cum gunners. They want us dead. So yeah, enemies have resistances. That's an electric box that I'm trying to stay away from and detonate because I don't want it near me at all. I'm gonna dig up here to get safety. Or not. We're gonna fall straight down. Okay. Oh, this is another heart formation. Look at that. You just have to be careful about all the explosives down there, which you wouldn't typically be able to see without my handy dandy all-seeing eye being able to see everywhere. So just be wary of that type of stuff. Oh my God, what have I done to myself? Also fire Okay, don't do what I just did and shoot that thing, because that is very dangerous. Propane tanks are lethal. They like to fly all over the place. Oh god. Okay, this is a puzzle, I believe. I think it's a puzzle. It's kind of just find a way to get in there. I don't know, maybe it's not really a puzzle. Oh, the digging bolt does do damage to enemies. Very good. And we found a wand with a lot of mana and low mana recharge speed. That's not great. So be wary of stuff like that. If you think you found something very good, just be careful. Just need to dig in from the bottom. Yeah, I guess it's not really a puzzle, but I don't know. It's maybe not obvious. Just remember that you can destroy everything, basically, in this game. Keep that in mind. I'll just say that, I guess. Oh god, he's gonna electrocute me. See how he started zapping everything? Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Out of my way, ice. I got people to get blown up by. I don't like how much water just showed up. I can't shoot him in the toes. This is no shuffle. Throw some... Oh, we shot a black hole. My bad. He's gonna shoot at us now. Or blow up his friend. Okay, he's just dead. We're good. Everything's fine. What do we get? We got that wand. Alright. Electric damage heals Zuko a lot. Oh, okay, that is a fun fact. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention this earlier. You can tell a lot about a wand by the way it looks. So if you look at this wand here, you can see it's got a gem, like a large gem, and then two, like, forks. That means that it's a dual cast, and the large from the forks at the front, and the large cast, or the large gem, means that it's no shuffle. You can see it's no shuffle, 2 spells cast. If one is submerged, a non-machine gun spark bolt will not outpace its healing. Oh, because it's zapping itself. Gotcha. And then also the size, I think, indicates capacity as well, I believe. I think there's something like that. I don't know. Uh-oh, short-range homing. Yeah, that's something that's pretty good to find. I'm going to drop this one because the recharge sucks, so we're probably not going to use it at all. Also, the shotgun down here, I'm just going to kill him. Take him out. Okay, so we found health. You notice it doesn't heal you, it just gives you extra health. For some reason that guy didn't get hit by the chainsaw that time. That was weird. I guess it missed. God, my voice is fucking killing me. I don't do this much talking. Or, explanatory talking. Holy shit. Oh my god. That is so dangerous. Also, enemies keep dropping stuff sometimes after they die, so just be wary of that. Oh my god, critical plus and ping pong path? Oh my god, I wish I didn't put the black hole on here. We have black holes, but we don't have a way to speed them up, really. This digging is just far too valuable. I don't think I can drop it at the moment. Also, enemies, like I said, they have certain weaknesses and whatnot. Oh, there's a big vat of acid up there. That's just wonderful. And there was an invisible propane tank behind that guy, that box. That could have easily killed us. I say invisible, it was hidden. It wasn't invisible. So this is also a puzzle. Don't die to the acid. That's the puzzle. And don't chase gold like I'm doing. That guy took a few shots, that's for sure. We're gonna dig through here just because I feel like there could be a heart, but I don't think there is. Snipers, terrifying. Don't like it. Not one bit. Okay, the vat of acid, right. Man, wish I didn't talk so long. Jesus Christ. Oh god, not the big boys. You blew me up. You blew me. Careful for that. Holy blood. Look at all that blood. Look at all those crits we're gonna get from all this blood. Crit. Crit me. Not me. Crit you. Why is there electricity? Okay, so now, see, I went all the way to the bottom, but because I have extra health, I'm gonna go exploring a bit. You don't have to leave until you're low health, and I encourage you to explore to your heart's content. And maybe not do as I do sometimes, like digging straight into enemies. But I do encourage you to destroy things that might kill you if you're worried about that. It looks like the bottom, like, where'd all the acid go? What the hell? It must have gotten something in here, like blood, and all evaporated or something. I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. It's weird. Okay. Why? Did I look at this wand already? Kind of looks like I did. No, I didn't. That's actually a decent wand, but we don't have room for it because I want the spells that are on these other ones, and that's why Tinker Everywhere is so incredible. Alright, what time is it here? 10:40. Oh shit. Okay, baby. Love you. Okay, he's dead. Dump water on ourselves while we're jumping into the fire, trying to avoid getting shot in the face. Wish I put critical on oil on here, because that would be incredible right now. But that's okay. Look, a snowman. Also a worm tunnel. Maybe there's a heart down here. Oh no, just a worm that we might get a heart from. So big worms have a potential to drop hearts. Hopefully he does, because I want an extra heart. Hey, he did. Look at that. It's kind of hidden, but there you go. Is this the one that I found earlier? No, it's got a teleport bolt on it. Oh man, we have to take that now. I guess we're dropping our digging wand. That's unfortunate. Actually, let's see. No. Okay, we're fine. This is actually shaping up to be a decent run. Fuck. And there's your final lesson. Anything can and will happen in this game. You could just teleport into an enemy that you don't know is there because it's a skill issue. And that's just kind of what you need to learn. And this is why I'm saying take everything you don't know what it is, because you can unlock it in basically the dossier and see see what you've taken. Maybe theory craft. But there you go, basically. That's that's your hour-and-a-half rundown of the game. Basically, get good or die trying, because that's how you get good. And don't be afraid to die. Like, you're gonna die so much at the beginning of this game. You're not gonna make it down to where I did, most likely. Hopefully you do with my help. I hope so. What a progress restart. I saved the file though. Don't feel too bad. But basically, you're gonna die a lot. Enjoy dying. Just savor it. Think of why you died. Like right there, I teleported into the unknown. I got shot in the face by a sniper. I had too little health. I shouldn't have been exploring maybe because I got one shot. There's some things to learn. That's how you learn in this game. You just have to die over and over again. Try new things out. Explore. Go to new areas. Go down in different ways. And have a great time with the game. It is quite a phenomenal game, and I think you shouldn't... Don't dwell on the deaths, because every death you're going to learn something new. That's pretty much all I had. I think we're going to... I don't know if I can like end this stream and start another one, but I think that's pretty much it for today. I think I'm just going to end stream there, pretty much. I just wanted everybody to know that I have 80 hours in the game. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best. But there's a lot of beginner tips that can help you get your feet wet. Hopefully get your first win. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little guide. It's something that I don't typically do on anything because I just sometimes think maybe, you know, it's not worth it because there's other stuff out there. But if I helped you in some way, please let me know. I would love to know. I know Gerald didn't get any help from me because he's one of the people that helped me. Yeah, definitely good tutorial. Show the ever-present threat of death. Everything's out to kill you. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. It definitely will be a spoiler full video, stream. So don't go expecting that my streams are going to be spoiler free just from this one. So if you don't want spoilers, do not watch. just a heads up. But there's so much to the game. Enjoy it. Have a great time. If you have questions, you can join my community Discord that I made because I forgot about it entirely. Hold on, I have to put it in the chat. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. New Discord channel. Go ahead and join it. I'm gonna create a channel that's spoiler free, hopefully, and try and moderate it if I can. I don't know if I can like do that. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'll figure it out. And there's some hangout channels in there if you guys want to hang out. I'm gonna be in there today after the stream for a little bit if you guys want to chit chat or you know, give me ideas, tell me things you'd like to see. If you think someone could use a tutorial on it, or yourself could use a tutorial on it. Yeah, so see you guys in there if you'd like. Please join the community, post, give some tips to newcomers, hopefully. I just want it to be a place where people can find friends, hang out, talk Noita, or any game if you want. I don't mind if it's only Noita. I made a channel just for Noita, so you could use general for other things. Catch you guys in the next one. Plasma Fade, fading out. You guys have a good one. Later.